Small business is about courage, risk-taking, independence, and we small business owners are survivors. Everybody has an idea for a business, but how do you take that idea from mind to market? This is the place to learn.
Small Business School with Hattie Bryant.
It's a new kind of school. Together we'll learn about business from the inside out, from the people who've done it. We'll meet the men and women who are today's pioneers and quiet heroes. Their lives are the textbooks. Our classroom is the world.
Small Business School is made possible by support from the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you. And by Microsoft.
We see you building a new company from an old company. We see a business full of potential. We're inspired to create software that helps you reach it.
Hi, I'm Hattie Bryant, and this is the place for learning about how business works. We travel all over the country to meet the fascinating founders of companies that year after year after year serve customers and create jobs. We call what you will experience now a master class. Your teachers are always men and women who have lived through what it is they speak about. Let's now visit a family that is rather new to the U.S., but brings a proud reputation and skill that we can all learn from. These men have it all. Their company, Café Pilon, is the premier Cuban espresso coffee roaster in the world. Their company has happy customers.
Good coffee, Cuban coffee. The best.
They have happy, loyal employees.
They treat me like bloated and fatted and 60.
And, most importantly, they have each other.
Alberto, he likes to, to always come out with new ideas.
Angel, he watches the customers like a hawk. If you take a customer away from Angel, he goes crazy.
Oh, Jose Enrique is our oldest brother. You always look up to your oldest brother.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he hasn't let you down yet?
No, not yet, no. I don't think he ever will.
Why so much success?
You gotta want it. And then you have to go out and get it. It won't come to you. You have to go out there and get it.
There it is, the best. Nothing but the best.
In Miami's Little Havana, it seems everyone's drinking coffee, and much of it comes from Miami-based Roland Roasters, which does business under the name of its most popular brand, Café Pilon. It generates $70 million in annual sales and has 175 employees. Owners Jose Enrique, Jose Alberto, and Angel Soto are brothers who have coffee in their DNA.
I drink every morning café con leche. It's milk with espresso.
Okay, I have 4 a day.
Okay.
Okay, and it makes me
It
work harder.
Even though the Soto family has been in the roasting business since 1865, they had to start over with nothing when they came to Miami.
We came here in 1960, or when Mr. Castro took over, and he took everything in Cuba, and he made it all owned by the government. So it's a very, very difficult situation, and I ask myself the question sometimes, how would I react if here in the United States somebody would come to me and all of a sudden say, hey, this is no longer yours, now it belongs to the government, now it belongs to somebody else, without you doing anything to deserve that. And it's really very hard to imagine going through that period.
So how did your dad get started?
Well, we started, first of all, the only actual natural way of doing it was going door to door. And the reason was we established a network of friends and family who would know other people. And we used to knock on doors and say, hey, we're so-and-so and we're in the coffee business here in the United States, and now we have Cuban coffee here, and we'll deliver it to you once a week. And if you have some friends or relatives, give us their address and we'll give you a free week of coffee. And those guys will give you a list of people. And
so you ask for referrals.
Exactly. So the idea was, look, I'm going to give you the freshest possible coffee because we're going to roast the coffee and we're going to bring it right into your door. So that's how we started. We started that way, and then as my brothers grew and we all, they started going through high school and getting the driver license, the first thing they did, they got a little VW, Volkswagen, and I always tell my dad, I always said, you got to write a letter someday to the VW people and tell them that because of them, you were able to build up your business,
Oh, did you use the little cars?
Yeah, we used the little cars because they were inexpensive. They were very, easy on the gas.
Low gas,
So,
yeah.
so it was easy to use them for routes. And each one of us, 3 of us, had Volkswagen, as well as my dad. And we all went around and did our routes. And all our way through high school and then through college, that's what we did. And then after I graduated from college, then I said, you know what? The coffee business is a rough business. I want to have a business where I need to have a secretary and
you
be
want
an
an
executive.
easy
So I
life.
wanted to go travel, and that's what I did. I did that for a number of years until I decided, this is wonderful, but I want to go back to my roots. I want to go back to the family business. There was an opportunity. Both of my older 2 brothers were just getting out of college. So we felt this is the time to do it. The company wasn't making a lot of money. It was a very small company. So there really was no opportunity to make a lot of money. It was something that you would have to be kind of doing the same thing you were doing before. And because you felt you had an education and you had sort of an American type of feeling on it, you wanted to go out in the world and kind of prove yourself. And then after we did that, we all decided, this is wonderful. We have proven ourselves out in the world of business. We want to go back to the company and we want to build it.
There's a twist to this story. This company didn't begin with the brand Café Pilon.
What happened is this: in Cuba, way back in the later part of the 19th century and early part of the 20th century, coffee was sold as coffee. There was no brand name.
It was just coffee.
It was just coffee, and then you would develop your customers based on the relationship you had with the customers, and they'll buy from you not because you had a certain brand, because people used to go in the stores and just ask for coffee. As the years went by and the brand name became more important, this is when Café Pilon in Cuba became a very large name and a very important name. The gentleman who did that, his name was Manolo Bascuas. When we came over to the United States, so did Manolo Bascuas, and he started his roasting plant. So we became his customer.
Okay.
Eventually, he saw an opportunity to sell the business to my father, and my father saw an opportunity there to buy the business, buy the brand, and try to develop the brand and make it bigger.
Well, let's talk about your father's wisdom, probably, in taking his name off and going with the name. He obviously didn't have the ego attachment.
No, not at all.
To his name on the coffee.
Exactly, not at all. Because what happened was Pilon was such a strong name with all of the Cubans from all over the island, while our brand was basically important in certain areas of the island.
Okay.
Pilon was like a national brand.
So he gave up his own name to buy the brand that was bigger.
Exactly, and that's how we started growing, and that was the story behind that.
How did your father get enough cash to buy
Well,
Café Pilon?
you're talking about a very small business. You're talking about a business that was in the thousands of dollars.
Okay.
So it wasn't a lot of money. So my father was able to get financing from a banker, a
loaned
very
him the
close
money.
friend of his who was a president of a bank here. And he was known for helping Cubans, refugees who were starting businesses here. And that's how we got
and the
started.
banker knew the Pilon name, and he knew your father,
Exactly.
so he figured this is going to work.
Exactly.
Okay, so then you switched from this knocking on doors, and you guys in your Volkswagens delivering to individual homes. The Café Pilon thing brought you retail accounts.
Right. Now we went into the retail store. Now
Okay.
we were having to buy trucks. We were having to hire people to establish routes and cover the areas in Miami. So this is where, and we were talking about that before, this is where some of the experience that we got in other businesses before we went back to the family business helped us tremendously.
Okay.
Both of my 2 brothers work with American companies, Campbell Soup, one of them, and Pillsbury, the other one. So they were able to get a lot of the marketing and a lot of the merchandising ideas and things that were being used in the store. Me, on the other side, I was working for a department store as a buyer in an executive position. So I was able to develop the advertising end of it, the promoting, the getting the people to the store to buy product. So we all put our 2 things together, and this is what came out of it.
The brothers make it seem so simple. Buy the right beans, roast, blend, and grind them to perfection, then package the coffee to ensure freshness. Nothing seemed simple to me. I saw dozens of details in each step.
Well, first of all, this is Fernando Chavez.
Hi, how are you?
He's our green coffee buyer, and this room is so important because here's where the quality is maintained. He checks different types of coffee that we receive as samplers, before we buy it, and then after he checks it in as it comes in the warehouse. production of coffee and roasting is an art. Same way as the wineries, they have a wine taster that picks up the different grapes. We do the same.
Well, so did you like that?
Fine delivery.
Was
What's
it good?
that?
It was fine?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay for
okay?
the time of year.
Buying right to me means buying the right quality. Price-wise, of course, we always try to buy at the best price. But for me, if you say buying right means the quality, and that's very important. That's the most important part of our business.
Okay, and that's why Fernando is so critical.
Fernando helped us tremendously in the sense of he's the one that maintains that the coffee that is coming in every day is the quality that we purchase.
Well, we basically follow the fundamentals of the market, the supply and demand picture. We follow at all times. That's London, close down about 1/2 cent.
Then we have also the Actron, which is one that measures the roasting color.
When you started working for your father, what was the processing like then? What did you
Right.
have?
Well, we're going back 25, 26 years ago. So of course, the roasting machinery that we had was not as sophisticated as the one that we have nowadays. So actually the quality was not as easy to maintain. Now with the growth and the new machinery that we have, of course, the quality-wise, it makes it a lot easier for us.
All right, so how many finished pounds a day come off of this process?
Well, we have the capacity that we have, and of course, we are not running at full capacity. We have, we're only working about a shift.
Wait a minute,
day.
you're not running at full capacity. You need your brothers to get out there and sell
Yes,
some more.
That's what I
Had you tell them that
Of
you're better at
course.
what you do than they are at theirs because you can overproduce?
Sure, but they always say that I spend all the money in machinery. That's what they say.
They
But
want
it's-
more, and so that is a push-pull thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's kind of a battle we have. They sell and I produce. I'm always trying to keep ahead of them. So, of course, right now we're doing about one shift a day, about 8 to 10 hours a day.
Right.
And all we have to do is open up more hours and we can produce more.
So in 8 to 10 hours a day, how many pounds of coffee start in these bags and get finished completely?
Okay, I would say in 8 hours a day we do about 80,000 pounds a day. Here in Miami is where we do all the production.
Okay.
Here's where we manufacture, roast, and package.
Okay.
But then we have 3 warehouses. One in the Northeast, we have 3. We have one in New Jersey, one in Philadelphia, and one in Connecticut. So from here, what we do is we process, we pack, and then we ship out. But let me tell you that by us being here in Florida, the freight up to the Northeast is very inexpensive.
Okay.
There's a lot of empty trailers going up north, and we, of course, we benefit from that. 15 years ago, we were the first espresso roasting coffee company in the United States to have a brick bag, which is called a vacuumized coffee bag.
Right.
And we were the first one. So if you ask me, how do we know? It's just a matter of that we invested in equipment to have the best and freshest coffee available to the public. You see that we have 2 roasters, and there's Jean Paul. Jean Paul has been with us for the last 21 years.
Jean Paul is the man in charge of these $1 million roasters.
So nice to meet you. Can you tell us how you do what you do? Yes. Okay, let's have a look. You're going to do 800 pounds in each roaster
What's that?
at a time.
At a time. When it start in the morning, it's hot, very hot. But after 20, 25 minutes, it's coming cool.
Well, Jean Paul, when we purchased, we acquired a business about 21 years ago. He was a roaster at that business.
Mm-hmm.
And he had maybe about 5 or 6 years of experience when we took over. And he's been with us ever since. He's a great employee and he's very loyal.
And how long does it take, the process?
The process take maybe sometimes 10 hours.
Every small
11 or 10
business
hours.
strives for this.
What we try to do is we try to run this business in a way that everybody knows their responsibility. And even though we have a plant manager and we have supervisors, everybody knows what they have to do, and that's the way we like to run our business.
So they feel important because they know what they're supposed to do and they're left alone to do it.
Exactly. We want to make sure that they are proud of what they do and they know that it's very important for the company, whatever type of job they do.
Café Pilon has two types of customers. 80% of sales come from grocery stores. The other 20% comes from cafes, coffee shops, restaurants, and even hospitals. These institutional customers serve up the brew one cup at a time and help drive grocery sales.
We went into the Versailles bakery and we had café con leche. So, is that your customer?
That's right. Versailles is our number one customer. Basically, what we do is a special blend for them.
So is this one of your customer service techniques that your big customer will come to you and say, I don't want what you're doing for anybody, I want my own blend?
That's right, yeah. They came to us about 3 years ago and they wanted to make a special blend for them, and that's what we're doing right now, and they're very happy.
Because it's very energetic, you know.
Oh,
and the people give you a lift.
Energy.
I got a piece of paper home. The coffee is good for the sex. Believe me.
That's what I heard.
That's right.
I heard that.
I read it in Miami Herald.
Yes.
So you have coffee or you have Viagra? Coffee's cheaper.
Soto, nice people.
Yes.
It's family Soto, very nice people.
Right.
They started from the bottom.
Yes, we know that.
They are hard-working people.
And you keep them in business because you keep drinking 5, 6, 7 cups a day.
8 to 10 every day.
And also, we do service on their machines, which is a very important part in the institutional end of it. When the machine breaks or it's malfunctioning, what they do is they call us in the office, and we send a technician down there, and we fix the machine.
Don't reinvent the wheel, or if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Soto family was in the espresso roasting business in Cuba, but the biggest name in coffee in Cuba was Café Pilon. When the founder of Café Pilon was ready to retire, the Sotos offered to buy the business and created growth by combining the companies to maximize efficiencies. And they never thought of dropping the Café Pilon name to replace it with Soto. What this teaches, I believe, is business decisions should be made separate from our egos. The Sotos would rather increase profits than see their own name on the package. Decades later, they have again acquired another competitor that carries another name. This is the Soto family business that is proud to own all the best names in Cuban coffee.
At smallbusinessschool.org, there is self-help study for people who want to start a business and for those who want to grow the business they have. To learn more about this episode, choose the overview. You can read every word you're hearing today when you choose the transcript and go deeper with the case study. There's streaming video and access to interactive study guides throughout the site.
So, how do I do this at home?
This is very simple. All you do is you pour water in the bottom part of the machine, and then the filter, of course, goes on top, and then you fill it up with Pilon,
Of course.
the espresso, Café Pilon. You just screw it on, put it on top of the stovetop, and in 5 minutes you're gonna have a delicious coffee,
And it comes
espresso
up here,
coffee.
right?
It comes out here, and in 5 minutes you're gonna have a delicious cup of coffee.
Low
Espresso
tech.
coffee.
Easy.
Low tech, easy.
Come to cafepilon.com. What could you say or tell people that you learned from your father that you're now using in business to make this an even more successful company than maybe he even dreamed? What did you learn from your father?
Well, I'm gonna say the most important thing is honesty. And in this type of business, it's your word is very important. And when I say that is, for example, whenever I'm buying coffee, I might be calling some of the importers on the phone, and I might be watching the market in the screen and say, well, this is a good time to buy. Let's put an order to buy of so many bags. Your word is very important because it might take a few days, even sometimes weeks, before we actually get a contract of those coffees that we are buying. So the most important thing that I learned in this business is your word is critical.
It's everything.
It's everything. And my father always taught me that even if we do a mistake when you buy, if you bought it, that's it. Your word is, so I would say that's the most important thing.
My father, to me, is the person that I think I really think is terrific. You know, he's a man who, when he was in his 40s, he came to a new country, did not speak the language, and he was able to go through a lot of work, a lot of hard work. Didn't think about the past, and he always had a very positive feeling about the future. The one thing that I feel is so important that I learned from him is his perseverance. I mean, I remember him in periods where things were tough, you know, back in the late 60s, middle 60s. You know, the business here was not, it didn't look like it was growing. It didn't look like it was a very stable business. As a matter of fact, some people might have said this was a dying business because nobody knew what was going to happen in the next few years. Right. And my father always had the feeling and the idea that this was a great brand, that this was a great business that had a lot of potential, and that something great could be gotten out of it. Mm-hmm. And he was able to maintain that through the worst times. And mm-hmm. to me, that is something that very few people can do. And I hope that if I ever get into a position like that, I get it just a little closer to what he did. You know, just 10% of what he did, I'll be successful. Make sure that what you're going to get into, it's something that your heart and your mind is going to be into it, because the first few years are going to be very difficult years. It doesn't make any difference what the business is. Mm-hmm. If you have that desire, and then you'll develop even if you don't have it, you will develop the ability to go out and have it done.
Okay, you are so up, you're so energetic, you've been doing this for 30 years. How do you stay excited? How do you stay motivated?
Well, you know, now we're involved in new acquisitions. We're looking for new products. We see a great opportunity to get our product from the Caribbean Hispanics into the rest of the Hispanics into the United States, and also into mainstream America, because of what the things that Starbucks mm-hmm. did. Now we think that this opens up a lot of doors for us, because now people are looking at different coffees, different ways of making coffee, and we think that that is a great challenge, and this is what gets us motivated.
When we came over, my father had a dream that you know, we could make it here, and he did it. And he had a dream of not only going door to door, but later on having his own plant, a small little plant, and started roasting, and that's how we did it. But he did it not only for his survival, he did it for, in a sense, try to create a business and teach us that business so that we could continue.
Our biggest dream will be probably someday Cuba will be free, and we can go there and sell coffee. You know, that's where Pilon started, and that's where hopefully someday we can go back and sell coffee there.
Again, we looked at the day where Cuba is going to be free again, and we hope that's not going to be too long from now, when Mr. Castro is out of there and people finally are free to choose what they want to do with their lives. And we see that as a great market possibility eventually in the future years. Again, I have to re-emphasize, once Castro is out of there, because we definitely we don't see eye to eye with his policies.
Right. You still have hope.
Oh, we definitely have. You never lose hopes. I think Cuba is going to go back to a free country again. I mean, after all, he's the last guy in the world almost. I mean, he's like a dinosaur now. I mean, he used to be a young guy who was supposedly fighting the wrongs of the world. It turns out to be that he's the last wrong, one of the last wrongs of the world. So now we need to, for him to move, go somewhere else, and let the young people in Cuba get a taste for democracy, get a taste for capitalism, so they can start their own business. We know the Cuban as an entrepreneur, as a guy who works, and I don't care how long they have lived under the communist system, they can't get used to it. And you see people coming into the United States, and after spending a few weeks here, a few months, they very quickly become acclimated. They learn that they need to work every day, that the longer they work, the better off they are, and that if they stick to something, eventually pays off, and it creates, you know, the American dream, you know. And this is what we see happening in Cuba. And when that happens, we want to be part of that. And we know our product is an intrinsic product of the island, and we hope that someday we'll be selling Pilon coffee in Cuba again, you know, as a free country.
This Freedom Tower is to Cuban Americans what the Statue of Liberty is to so many of the rest of us. And this flame will burn until freedom rings in Cuba again.
Business startups are fueled by immigration because immigrants start businesses at a higher percentage than do other Americans. It's been said, as a country, we are constantly being reinvented, not just by the free flow of ideas, but by the free flow of people. We thank the Soto family for bringing Cuban espresso coffee to America.
Small Business School is made possible by support from the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you. And by Microsoft.
We see you building a new company from an old company. We see a business full of potential. We're inspired to create software that helps you reach it.
If you want to learn more about starting, running, and growing a business, come to our website, smallbusinessschool.org. There's streaming video and interactive study guides.
The only way we can compete with big business is to be faster, smarter, and better. We are the engine of the American economy. We create the jobs. Small business is about big commitment. It's about sacrifice and struggle. But we do it because we say, if I don't do this, my life won't be complete.